and the pilot's still strapped in. You can't miss it. It's on all the news. But you know what that's going to be? It's going to be a miracle. Okay, it's going to be a miracle. The freaking plane went down. Okay, smashed to bits. He was injured, but you know what's this kind of some kind of a cosmic joke? So we're just gonna...
Those things happen. There was a videotape of a guy parachuting 10,000 feet. His parachute didn't open. The camera recorded everything to the point of impact. He hit a soft patch of ground. He broke a few bones, but he survived.
Okay.
You see other people, you'll read about other people falling 25 feet and dying.
Yes.
You know, 25, tripping and dying.
Or tripping and falling down.
In the bathroom.
You're talking, right, you're talking about an omniscient being who will go to the, what is this, amusing itself by just destroying the whole plane, putting this man through this, and is this a joke?
Yeah.
Is this God's joke?
He's walking around the universe. All right, you. No, not you. Okay, you. All of you, one time. Okay, you know.
I'm going to just play with you a little bit, like a cat swatting a mouse. I'm going to play with you, and I'm going to not let your parachute open. I'm going to let you go down. But when you hit bottom, I'm going to let you live.
Well, and if God is going to intervene, why not just not make the plane fall?
Yes, exactly.
Very good.
Exactly.
That would make more sense.
I know. But we're talking in a silly way because there is no God to intervene or to do anything. Stuff happens.
Right.
Stuff happens in life.
And religion, and we must keep up the pressure that religion is subject to the same criticisms, parodies, satires as every other aspect of life. There is nothing that escapes parody, satire, criticism, or even insult. You just have to deal with it.
And especially if you're going to use religion to make existential claims about what happens in the world. If you're going to introduce religion into the public discourse, then expect it to be criticized like anything else in the public discourse.
Especially when they jump that gap from, well, these are my personal beliefs, to, well, we should pass a law because this is factual.
Yeah.
All right? They seem to always cross that thing. And you see with the Republicans now, with Giuliani, with Mitt Romney, when they're questioned about their religion, all of a sudden now it's private. All of a sudden it's private. But put the Ten Commandments and school prayer and this, that, and the other thing, you know. But now when you start to grill them, it's a private affair. But it's not a private affair when they're on the other side of the issue.
Right.
You know, that should have been in the hypocrisy show, but it really is.
Well, you know what this really speaks to, I mean, and Bill Donahue he's just the epitome of how much in trouble the Catholic Church is in. When you have to be picking at people who are criticizing you because they're a threat to you, because Kathy Griffin is a threat to you, your church and your religion is in big trouble.
Is he going to do a press release about the Monsignor that just got out of jail today in New York City, who embezzled $1 million?
No.
Did he issue any press releases about the hundreds of priests?
Unless you insult that Monsignor. You know what he also has at his website? He also has something that denies. If you go to Bill Donahue's website, look at his press releases. He has a press release where he denies the number of people killed during the Inquisition. It was almost like Holocaust revisionism. It's Inquisition revisionism by Bill Donahue.
Well, I don't think anyone knows how many died or how many not died. I mean,
Bill Donahue does.
Wow. There you go. Right. Yeah, so if you have something controversial or anything that you want publicized, make sure Bill Donahue finds out about it.
Just, you know,
and he'll get you on all the networks.
But you were talking about how the government was involved. The Catholic Church, up until like 1948, had the index, the infamous index of forbidden books and movies. And this started a long, long time ago, but it wasn't until like 1948. I mean, these was forbidden books. You couldn't read them, you couldn't sell them. According to the Catholic Church, 1948.
And even longer, because a little later than that, Ellen, because when I went to Catholic school in the mid-50s to late 50s, early 60s, we used to have a newspaper called The Advocate. And in The Advocate, there used to be a movie ratings by the Legion of Decency.
Sure.
And there were movies that were forbidden.
Yes.
And of course, me and my friends, we used to go get the
list.
paper, go to that list.
Absolutely.
Forbidden, and then...
Well, that's where Bill Donahue got his training. You're advertising.
You know what blew my mind? We did it one time for the original Baby Doll. The film Baby Doll that came out with Carl Malden. Very controversial at the time, two grown men.
Carol Baker was
Carol Baker, right, over a minor child. This was on the forbidden list. So me and my 10-year-old minions, you know, we get together, we sneak into the theater, we get in. We were bored stiff.
Sure.
What a waste of money.
Sure.
Now we're blaming the Legion of Decency for making this thing sound appealing. You know?
Sure.
And we wasted our money, you know. You see this boring flick. 10-year-old kids didn't care about men smooching with girls. Come on.
Right. Do you know, as I think as
They
late
corrupted me. That's what it was.
as late as I think it was 1967 or maybe even later, I actually when I was in college, and there's this young woman who was a friend. She was a classmate of mine, and she was a devout Catholic, and but I think in a starting to question. So she shows me this workbook that she was given, you know, and one of the things that was listed as a sin was like impure thoughts. And she just wanted to get my opinion about it, you know, and I was kind of reluctant to even, you know, go there, you know.
Yeah, right.
But I'm just wondering how if that's still going on, if you know how late that was going on, you know, as far as I mean, it's one thing to have a censored books and movies, but wow, I mean when you screwing around with people's thoughts.
Well, if some of these Republicans would have had just kept it as impure thoughts, they wouldn't be in a newspaper.
Right,
It's
right.
when they
right,
translate that
right.
into action.
Right.
I think impure thoughts are good for people sometimes because it does prevent you from engaging maybe in something you will regret
It's kept me
later.
out of jail many a time.
You know.
But there's nothing wrong with thinking something
Right.
that is so opposed, that is so wrong with the Catholic Church. You can think anything you want, and believe me,
You
there's
can't help
nothing.
it.
There's nothing wrong with it. Okay,
Right.
it's what you do.
Yes.
Okay, you're entitled to imagine anything and to think about anything, and try not to. You know, try not to do what you know.
mean,
What
you wind
shouldn't
up-
I think about it?
Don't think of an elephant.
Exactly.
I mean, I've been there. You think about I don't even want to go there. But
exactly.
that's your choice.
You are in.
You've done it. Now you move on. Yeah, the impure thoughts. You know.
There's nothing wrong with it. If you do it, there's nothing wrong with you. If you think about it, I mean, if you think about it, you go ahead and think anything you want. There's nothing wrong with that. So don't worry about when the Catholic Church says that there is.
But I think the Griffin thing also is endemic of a wider picture that we see now with this current Bush administration. And it's interesting that you brought this up because I just saw an interview with Naomi Wolf, the author, and she just wrote a brand new book, something about America. And her book really essentially is a tome that the current climate in the United States is leading down the road to fascism and censorship of ideas, of parody, of satire. This Islamic thing of like, you cannot draw a depiction of a person that we have no idea what that person looks like. This kind of thinking, this is all part of a fascist
Religious
it's
society.
Religious society, almost a theocracy.
And
actually fascism is a theocracy because now the state becomes the religion.
Yes.
And it enforces the religion.
Yes.
And that, go ahead.
But you know, there are actually Christian religious sources that will in fact say that there is no precedent in Christianity for the establishment of a Christian state. That in fact the whole message of Jesus was that my kingdom is not of this world, and there was no intent that was given that governments were going to be run by infidels.
Well, you
know,
know
so
that brings up an interesting point because many people have to realize that Christianity is not monolithic. Mm-hmm. It is very fragmented. There are groups within them, just like within the Islamic faith, that dislike each other,
as in any
distrust each other, and could read the same sentence and come up with completely different interpretations of what that may mean or how you may apply it to your life.
And this fragmentation occurred almost within months of the origin of Christianity. I mean, you know, almost immediately.
But really took hold when rational thought and someone invented a printing press.
Oh, boy.
And then you
Probably
took
the
these
atheists.
books and now made them available to the peasants.
To the unwashed.
And then 300 years later in the 17th and 18th centuries, you have the free thinkers who now took some of this expensive stuff